and Sharron.
I love
everybody.
you. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I want you to look inside of my house here. Look at this. See that? Can they see it? Yeah. There it is.
Oh, yes, they can see it real
Hey,
well.
Dave, let's hear it.
I remember that.
Right here. Tight on her,
Nice.
Dave. Good-looking lady. Can I have a hug?
Thank you. You sure can. Thank you.
You've gotten so many hugs.
I was in the way.
I Googled you, and you have so many pictures on the Google. I mean, they went forever. Who did that?
Kim did that.
Did she really? And in
She
your
gets
book,
credit for everything.
in your book, you have pictures
The
with
best pictures.
with movie stars out the wazoo. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Everybody loves you.
I'm so thankful.
I know, really. I mean, the comments that they make about you is
Well, you know what that means?
Thank you.
She's got
Thank you.
she's a wonderful woman with a wonderful personality. That's what that means.
day.
Thank you.
Very kind, caring.
Now, this is transparent disclosure. I was a wild kid. Trust me, crazy wild. Until I read her book.
She's wilder than you were?
She made me feel like the Pope.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you have done stuff.
Yes, I have. And there's stuff in there I haven't put in. I mean, stuff that I haven't
Are
put
you
in
serious?
There. Yeah.
I mean, it
Wild
is-
and crazy woman.
I mean, she was a drug addict at age 16.
Aw.
She wanted to get a fast start on life.
LuLu Roman was an orphan girl who grew up to bring laughter and welcome family to millions. At age 23, LuLu debuted nationally in a 1969 on the first episode of Hee Haw. Everybody remembers that. It was on CBS TV with the original cast in the cornfield. She was with the TV show from the first episode to the last airing in 1993. Hee Haw is now in reruns. She received a Dove Award and is a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame.
And everybody loves, I mean, the stars want to meet her.
That's
You
right.
know, usually you want to meet the stars want to meet her. But tell the story of how you were selected for Hee Haw.
Great story. The way that I hear it is that someone in Hollywood decided they wanted to do a country and western type laugh-in. So they were smart enough to know to make a list of all the characters that they wanted so they didn't have to go through all of the cattle calls to get, thousands of people
Yeah.
to go through there. So they had on their list one gorgeous blonde, one gorgeous brunette, one boy next door type, one girl next door type, one gorgeous blonde, one gorgeous brunette, one fat dumb man and one fat dumb woman. And Buck Owens said, "I got your girl. She's in Dallas."
So it was Buck Owens.
Yeah. And they said, "Well, all right." And they took his word for it. And the next thing I knew, I was on a plane to Los Angeles.
Wow. Wow.
Buck.
He was a very powerful guy back then.
Well,
wasn't
he had hit after hit after hit, and even
He
at
did.
that time.
Yeah.
And we have become good friends over the years. Well, if you read this book,
Oh yeah.
you will know who
Let's see.
LuLu Roman is.
I wanna
She
find out.
says this, Sharron. My book will rock your world.
Yes.
And-
But I want to start out earlier.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to find out, you were an orphan.
Yes.
Wow.
I was born in a home for unwed mothers in a little town outside of Dallas called Pilot Point, Texas. In the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there was a place in the newspaper that said, "We will raise your children right for you. We'll raise them in a Christmas. Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah.
We'll raise them in a Christian atmosphere. We'll send them to school. We'll teach them, the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things. And apparently it sounded good enough that my grandmother just went right over and took me up to the office and said, okay, this that you wrote here and whatever this is, that's what I want for this kid.
So the amazing thing was that she drops you off there, and you thought she was coming back to pick you up like somebody would.
I did.
And the
I did.
person
They
in charge.
set me in a hall.
Yeah.
And what I noticed back then was everything was white. The floors were white. The walls were white. The furniture was white. The dresses that the women had on was white. All of the staff was white.
Wow.
Okay, everything was white. I don't know why, but I noticed that. And I sat there for hours and hours and watched out. They had a hall, and down the hall, over this side over here, it had 3 windows. And behind those windows outside was a play area. And so I sat and watched children play all day long. And then when it started to get dark, someone came for me, and I said, well, I'm going home with my granny, And the answer that I was given was, sweetheart, your grandmother's gone. You're going to be here with us now. And then I got my first spanking for crying.
How many years were you at that location?
From the time I was 2 to the time I was 18, yeah.
Wow.
So the drop-off lasted about 16 years.
Yeah.
That's when you felt, I can do whatever I want.
Oh, yeah, I thought,
And you did.
I got out and I thought, nobody's going to ever tell me, thou shalt not again. I thought, oh, yes, thou wilt, and thou wilt, if thou canst, as many times as thou wantst.
So where did you end up? You're only 18 years old. What do you do out there by yourself?
Well, they got us jobs when we first left.
Oh.
The women were all sent to the telephone company. The guys were sent to the power companies and, stuff that men would be sent into. And I went to work for the telephone company.
Did you push the cords in?
I did. I was one of those that pushed those long cords in and pulled them out.
Kind of like they had on Hee Haw. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had the first thing almost that, maybe the second calling or something, operator. And I heard a voice say, operator, I want to call Ringo Starr. And I said, you are, is that a word, me? And here comes the service operator. And she said, no, you can't say that. And I said, well, I just did. And she said, no, you can't say that. So they gave me a 2-week probation, which I flunked terribly bad.
You like to cuss,
said,
didn't you?
Oh, my. Well, see, that was the top of my bucket list. I wanted to learn how to cuss.
And you did.
I got it down really well. I did. So well that it cost me my job.
Yeah.
And then I found myself out in the streets of Dallas with no place to go and nothing to do. Some of the girls that had worked at the orphans' home had worked in the nightclub scene. And we were good friends, and they had always invited me to come down.
And they taught you about
And
a
so
sugar daddy.
they taught me a lot. They did. And we went down one night. My girlfriend wanted to go. She wanted to be an exotic dancer. And so I went with her. And on this is a great, you got to read this book.
Yeah. This is anything
It's a
she says
great
today.
story.
Anything she says today is about 90% milder
Yes.
than the book.
It is. We went down there, and they had amateur night on Friday and Saturday nights. And amateur night was when any woman who walked in that back door, I don't care what she was, who she was, what she looked like, could crawl up on that stage and do her rendition of what she thought was sexy dance. and take off her clothes doing it. Well, you never saw such stuff. You know?
I can imagine.
So did you think
And-
about doing it?
Well, no, I was sitting in the back watching my friend. I remember I had my arms folded, and I said, golly, didn't say golly.
Yeah, I
you
know.
but
Yeah.
I could do
Couldn't have-
better than that.
I can do
And I
better.
heard this voice behind me, this raspy, thick voice said, well, I'll bet you $50 you can't. To which I turned on my haunches and said, I'll bet you $50 I can. And I was looking in the face of this old man who smoked a stogie every day of his life. His name was Pappy Dolson, and he took care of all of the girls in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So they were
that
safe with them.
danced. Yes. Mhm. Nobody messed with Pappy's girls.
That's right.
So he said, little girl, you got 1 week. And I thought, you know, I can't do that. I ain't taking my clothes off, you know?
So you were
So-
were you a large size at that time?
Oh, yeah. I was working up on 300 pounds at then. And so I decided quickly that I would be a comedy routine.
Aha.
That I would not take off things, that I would just fake them out and, you know, make gestures and stuff, you know. And so I got up and I did this crazy thing, this dance where I can't even show you on television. At the break, I'll show you what some of I did. But I made gestures and I, you know, horsed around and said things and stuff. And I won it. I won it that night, hands down.
You were the key. The audience loved you.
And because I was funny.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was funny. So he offered me a job with a mighty nice paycheck, you know. It was like, honey, I'll give you $1 a pound every time you stand up there.
So that would have been that would
Pretty
have,
close to 300 then.
wow.
So it became my life. It did. And it was more about fun and about, you know, picking at people and stuff.
You were the biggest
no
go-go
job.
dancer in Dallas,
In Dallas,
Texas.
that's what they call
In
me.
fact, was it
Dallas
at Jack
is
Ruby's?
big- Yes,
The guy
He
that
had-
the guy that
well,
shot Oswald.
Yeah, he was gone by then, but I danced in 2 of his places. He had the Colony Club and the Theater Lounge, and I danced in both of those
It's in the book, so they can get the
Yeah, it
details.
is.
But you were actually in Dallas
I
when
was.
John F. Kennedy.
I was.
Now,
and
where were
see,
you?
I was just a kid in high school. I had not gotten to the LuLu thing. I had never been on Hee Haw. I mean, there was nothing to say a word about me that, oh, this might be a celebrity or someone that you wanted to listen to or something. None of that had ever happened. I was just a kid on the street, me and 2 girls, my friend Marilyn and my friend Peggy. And we had skipped school and gone downtown, and where 35 runs down and goes under the viaduct
Yeah.
and then circles and comes back up by the school book depository, which is sitting right there. We were over here on this grassy
On a knoll?
Uh-huh.
Grassy knoll?
And I heard
Wow.
like 3 shots. And when I did, I stopped and turned, and there was a man running behind me. I'm guessing he's probably maybe 5'8", 9", wasn't very tall. He had blonde hair and he had a crew cut, okay. He had on a blue and white seersucker jacket and pair of pants. I did not notice a tie or anything. And he was carrying a weapon. He was carrying a shotgun. He was running with that shotgun behind us.
Was he the shooter?
I have no idea.
Did you ever tell that to anybody?
Well, who was it going to tell? See? Nobody would listen to me back then. I was an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah.
That just, heard something and saw something, but nobody, I was in no place that anybody would pay a bit of attention to
So
me
it
at
could
all.
have been a guard.
Yeah,
for
could
the
have.
president.
Yeah.
How did you finally end up in jail? It was a result of drugs, right?
Well, the first time was not. The first time, listen now, I hope you're getting this. I was crazy.
Yeah.
When I got out of that orphan's home.
You got to
I
read the book.
literally-
She was crazy.
I literally went crazy. I mean, I had no reserve about anything. I didn't. I just wanted to do what I wanted to do and party
You didn't
and
have
have fun.
you didn't have a turn off switch,
And
did you?
no, I didn't. I did not. And so anything that was thrown at me or in my face, I was in the middle of. Well, a couple of the kids from the orphans' home, in the midst of all this other stuff, okay, they had started a ring of kids that would steal credit cards out of the mail, and then we'd all go shopping. So one bright sunny day, we decided to go to J.C. Penney's, and it was fun. We were buying sheets and pots and pans, and we were providing stuff for our little apartment. We were having a great time. And my friend looked up on the wall and said, "Look at that shotgun." And he said, "Lou, go get that gun." And I said, "Okay." Dumb as a rock. So he stood there for a minute, and I went over to the lady at the counter, and I said, "Ma'am, I would like to see that gun right there on the wall." She said, "Just a moment." And she went back behind the curtains, and pretty quickly she came back out and she said, "Excuse me, ma'am." She said, "This is not your credit card." And I said, "Oh, no." I said, "It's my brother's.
He's gone.
He was right here. Gone, honey. Nowhere. They couldn't find him anywhere." Those handcuffs slid on me like they were made for me.
Wow.
And off I went to the Dallas County Jail.
Wow.
How did you get out?
Grandmother.
Yeah.
Grandmother came and got me out, and it was something else. It was, but while I was in there,
What?
the women would scream and wail at night and
Wow.
cry, And I thought, I don't want to listen to this. So I just got up. I'd put my hair in pigtails, just stick right out there. And I just got up and started singing and dancing and acting crazy. And it took their mind off of their problem. And they all enjoyed it, and they wanted me to act silly and sing and dance.
Is that how you got the name LuLu?
But there was a woman in there who had killed her husband. She had stabbed him to death. She was an Indian woman. And she said, "You make me think of little LuLu in the comics."
That's how she
And-
got the name.
She said, "I'm going to call you LuLu."
We
I
got
said,
about 4
"Listen."
minutes left.
I
But
said,
I've got
"You call me anything you want to, just don't touch me."
yeah.
So that's where Lulu came from.
And her name Roman, that's not her name. It wasn't her name.
Mm-hmm.
She got that because you married a guy that wanted a green card, right? And his name was Roman. And something
And
crazy.
it fits her perfect,
yeah,
doesn't it?
fits her perfect. How
Oh,
did you
because-
how did you accept Christ as Savior? We got about 4 minutes.
I had run all of my life because this had been stuffed down my throat as a child. I didn't want to hear it. But I ran into one of those kids that grew up in that orphan's home, and she was so radically changed that it got my attention. Everything that came out of her mouth was not so much that it was a better word than somebody else would speak, or, a better place that she was coming from, but she had such peace about her.
Yeah.
That's what got my attention. And eventually ended up taking me to Beverly Hills Baptist Church, where I met Howard Knatzer, who was my pastor, who got on his knees and led me to Jesus on the floor. And
How old were you when that happened?
I was 20, I want to say 23.
Wow. So
We'd
you were
been
still
doing
mighty
Hee Haw
young.
for a couple of
Yeah,
years.
very young.
And I didn't sing before then.
Were you
And-
radically changed or over a period of time?
Radically, just like that. I got up the next morning. By then I'd had my first child, 6-month-old baby boy, and I got up the next
Is his
morning.
name Justin?
Take care, Damon.
Damon. Okay.
Damon, yeah. And wanted to take care of him, and got up the next morning and realized that I hadn't had any drugs since the night before.
Wow.
And called my friend and said, "You better come sit with me. I'm going to have to go through withdrawals." And what we realized later on that day was that I was instantly
You were
delivered from
healed.
drugs
Wow,
that day.
that's wonderful.
God just took it away. Just took it away. It was just gone. It was just
Wonderful.
gone.
And since that time, you have led thousands to Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
With your testimony.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Can you do something?
life.
We have about a minute and a half left. Where's your camera? Right there. Share Christ. About a
Okay.
minute and a half.
Okay. You could be sitting out there thinking, well, what does she think she's doing? I used to do that. I used to sit and look at the camera and think, well, aren't they pretty? And they just really think they know everything. The fact of the matter is, they do, because they know Jesus. I never believed this. I didn't. I didn't want any part of it until I ran into a friend that had been so radically changed that all I wanted in my life by that time, I just wanted peace. I wanted to learn how to be still and have peace. And she took me to a wonderful church and introduced me to the most incredible man of God who just loved me. And the church was called Beverly Hills Baptist Church. It was in Dallas, Texas. And back then, I was LuLu on Hee Haw, and I didn't recognize that anybody would, want to do anything for a quote LuLu. But they all loved me, and they all wanted me to get saved. And I like to tell people they just got together and loved the hell right out of them, because they did.
Yeah.
But on April 11th of 1973, on my knees in that church, I gave my heart to Jesus. And the most, I think the word I have chosen, exquisite thing happened. He gave his heart to me. And then he began to fill my heart with the love that he had for people like me, for broken people, for people who have found themselves in places that think no one will ever love me, no one will ever care. But I want you to know, I'll guarantee you there's some people around you right now that want to love you and that want to help you to mend and be well.
That's right.
Look for them. Look for them. Ask questions if you have to. And if you're afraid to, all you have to do is close your eyes. You don't have to look around the room if you're afraid to look for God. He ain't going to just show up and scare the snot out of you. He's not. He's just going to come real easy and teach you how to love and how to be loved. And that's what happened for me.
Amen.
I had to learn how to be loved. I was not a nice person. I didn't want any parts. But God knew that he had plans. The word says that God has plans for everyone. And I believe that he does. And his plan is to give you peace and to give you hope and to give you life. There's no better things than to have that right now here. That's all we're looking for is peace
Pray with somebody right
and
now.
hope. And so if you're sitting out there and you don't know what to do, I'm going to show you what to do, okay? You just close your eyes and say a little prayer. And I'm going to say a little prayer, and if you want to, you say it right behind me. You can give your life to Jesus right now. Doesn't cost any money. Doesn't hurt. He paid for that pain a long time ago. Just close your eyes, okay? And say what I say, okay? But you got to mean it in your heart, okay? And you do it all by yourself with nobody around, okay? Dear Jesus, I know that my heart is broken. I don't believe anyone loves me right now. But this woman says that you do. So I ask that you would show me your love for me. And I ask that you would come into my heart and show me your love to me from you. I ask that you'd help to change me and to give me peace and to give me hope and to change my life today. And I'm going to thank you because this is going to be my new birthday today. And that's something to celebrate. So I thank you, Lord Jesus, that today you've changed my life. And you give me hope and you'll give me peace. In Jesus' name. And Father, I just ask that you would send someone to everyone who prayed that prayer. Send someone to help them to get through this. And I thank you that your heart is for this, that your heart is to get these people and to love them and to change them. And I thank you. In Jesus' precious name, I thank you.
God bless you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
watching. Bye-bye.